Hello. This lecture is about creating a solid foundation to support a digital service journey. We're going to begin with some basic definitions. Then we're going to expand on those definitions by touching on some of the essential attributes of a service. And we'll finally wrap it up with some great examples that you can take away. So let's go ahead and get started. Take a few seconds to read the definition of a service. Let's analyze this a bit more. A service is the action of delivering value, something of worth, to consumers, meaning a beneficiary. Think of people like employees or citizens, students, or even other computers that might be the consumer of a service. By facilitating, which means making it easier, outcomes they desire, which are the results. If I were to rewrite this, I could say that services is about making it easier for a beneficiary to reach a desired result. When I go to work, I use email. My manager doesn't stand up an email server because a central team provides the email service to our team. If I have a problem with Microsoft Office on my laptop, I don't call Microsoft because our help desk provides a license and Tier 1 support for Office in our organization. These are services. The digital prefix in digital service is there to exclude things like haircuts and car washes, which are also services. It refers to services that are rendered via an electronic device or device is. In this series, our emphasis is going to be on digital services, not services in general. For a service owner, the essentials are the who and the what. Who the consumer is becomes especially important in the business setting like you're in. And this is due to the many layers of people. There are employees, there's departments, there's consumers, there's citizens, students, and the list goes on. Not only defining who the consumer is, but take some time to define your role as a service owner that's representing a provider. This is equally as important as defining that consumer. The second essential is the what. This is the equivalent of a mission or maybe a vision for a business. The consumer or the beneficiary must get value or they're not going to use your service. That's pretty straightforward. What's not so obvious is that the provider needs to get value as well. For a service owner, this usually means doing more with less in some form or another. And this is almost always financially motivated. There's some savings to the organization, and that's why they're delivering that service. As a service owner, you have a say in how your service is going to be delivered. This should be done in a way that best serves the consumer and the provider. Are you providing a travel service for employees where you offer them Southwest, United, or Delta, which would be a product-based travel service as shown in this diagram? Are you providing access-based services where the consumer decides if they want a computer, an app, a mobile, a web, or maybe all of them, which would be an access-based service? These 9 examples are not meant to limit you. Their purpose is to do the opposite. Expand your vision. If you have a better way to package your service to increase the value, go ahead and try it. At the end of this journey, your organization might have 3 types of service packaging, or you might have 30 different types. Employee onboarding is a perfect candidate for creating a digital service. Let's consider 3 parts of employee onboarding: getting the employee system access, issuing the employee assets, and training that new employee. In a lot of organizations, an admin has to submit between 4 and 10 tickets just to get a new employee started. In those tickets, they ask for things like email, time tracking, even keys for the building that the employee is going to work in. These employees might need a computer, a laptop, maybe a mobile device. A lot of times what happens is they send emails out. The admin has to send emails out, make phone calls, and submit some tickets. And a lot of times these tickets have to be submitted in different systems depending on what they need. Finally, the employee gets all these things, and then the training side. Managers have to spend up to 8 hours a week for 4 weeks straight training that new employee. What if we were to create a digital service where one form triggered a workflow that granted all of the access, issued all of the assets, and scheduled all of the training. This type of digital service is not uncommon. Endpoint support is another great candidate. What if we put one person in charge of how every single employee gets desktops, laptops, and mobile devices? Today's 60 departments have 30 different people that manage all or parts of this very same service at an organization that I know of today. Isn't it easier and more cost-effective if getting a device and support for those devices was under one owner instead of redoing the same process and having to do the same things 30 different times in 30 different departments? This is how digital services set you free. They give you all of those resources back. This is how you get value as the provider, and the consumer gets value by not having to do that thing 30 different times. In our next module, we'll discuss the life cycle of a digital service so that we can touch on how they get created, improved, and even retired when the time comes. Thank you very much.